space. His thoughts, consciousness, a kind of peace of mind. He experiences himself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deciphering My Experience. My name is Eric, and I'm going to have an interesting conversation to bring some of you folks up to speed on a conversation that not everybody might be familiar with, and that is Havana Syndrome and what's been going on as of late in the news. But first, I would just like to thank everybody here on YouTube. I know I haven't been here much as of late, and there's a good reason for that, and it's called censorship. So if everybody would like to find out what's going on in a censorship-free environment, please go take a look at deciphering.tv, which is flashing down in the corner of your screen right now, because that is where you're going to get all of the information from the folks that I'm connecting with in a way that is not censored. So deciphering.tv is basically the platform that I'm going to be pumping most of my stuff out on. A good friend of mine back in the day said that Noah built the ark before the storm. So deciphering.tv is that ark for truth that we're going to need in the future, and I suggest that everybody goes over there and signs up on the email list. Oh, which, as a matter of fact, if you have previously signed up on the email list, I'm going to have to ask you to do that again, because in the upgrades and hardening of the website, because it is certainly not free from people attempting to stop the truth, the website has been hardened, which is fantastic news. But in that process, I lost everybody's email contacts that had been sent in to me previously. So if you would pretty please recontact me at deciphering.tv. Anybody who has contacted me before knows that I have not once sent anything out to anybody in any way, shape, or form. It was just there exclusively as an emergency backup. But since that emergency backup is no longer there, please sign back up, and let's make sure that we stay connected in the future. I'm not down and out yet, but you never know. With that being said, again, thank you to the 3,000 subs. I would like this to grow and get more information out there. So if people can please share this, subscribe, like, move the information around, go to deciphering.tv and share a link would be fantastic also. Other things that are coming up in the not too distant future, this Halloween weekend, I'm not sure exactly which day yet, but that weekend, Ramona Freeborn will be back in town here in Anchorage, Alaska. Anchorage and Alaska in general seem to be hopping with SSP visitors as of late. I had Rebecca Rose pass through recently, who is now an Alaskan resident. And if you did not catch her wonderful conversations here in studio, you can check the YouTube list below and find part 1 of our conversation. And in the description there, you can find part 2, which is over at deciphering.tv. But Ramona will be returning Halloween weekend, and we will be discussing an event that occurred at the Journey to Truth event in Grafton, Illinois. And there was a memory that Ramona had that we're going to go over that had to do with a drawing that she had recalled. And there were some connections made both at the event and outside of the event. And it's a wonderful story. So we're going to have her back in studio, and I really look forward to her sharing that aspect of her experience, because everybody was there and everybody saw it, so it's pretty good. But it's her story, so she'll be back the weekend of Halloween. Don't know if anybody heard that there was FBI building in Washington, D.C. had explosions at it the other day. I came across a video. It was very interesting, but this one just came on my radar. So if anybody has any info on that one, please share it in the comments below. That would be fun. But for today's conversation, I would like to bring everybody's attention back to this conversation of Havana Syndrome, which is getting more and more coverage that nobody seems to be paying attention to. So I'm going to go over this one really quickly with you folks. So here we have just a few hours ago when I pulled this article up, it says CIA Inspector General dings agency care of early Havana Syndrome victims. The CIA Inspector General has completed a review that has criticized the agency's handling of the initial cases of a mysterious affliction known colloquially as Havana Syndrome, U.S. officials said Friday. The review, which was delivered to both CIA Director Bill Burns and Congress this month, found fault with how the agency dealt with early issues during the Trump administration, according to a source familiar with the report. Victims have long claimed that in the months and years following the first reported incidents in Havana, Cuba, some senior officials were skeptical that the injuries were real. The report found that as a result, some of those officers reporting symptoms did not get the immediate care they required. Well, I'm going to tell you folks, just to be completely straight here, there were reports well before the Havana Syndrome situation was brought to the attention of the governing bodies, so to say. I know that there was at least one person on my crew at South Pole Station that reported Havana Syndrome-like symptoms well before there was even a title known as Havana Syndrome. So this is something that I think is a clear and present danger to both government personnel and the civilian population of this planet. This is why I think that we have modern warfare going on around us, and we need to pay very careful attention to the things that the government doesn't want us to know about modern technologies and the such. As everybody knows, South Pole Station, directed energy weapons, there's really, I'll just keep screaming from the mountaintops until people hear me or comprehend what I'm saying, but this is a technological advancement that the masses are not privy to, and it's only in the shadows that this is being discussed. But let's get back to the article. The CIA declined to comment on those findings. CIA Press Secretary Susan Bukima Miller said in a statement that the review found, quote, that the challenge of simultaneously understanding and effectively responding to the myriad challenges associated with these incidents complicated the agency's response. I guess, therefore, since the job is hard, is the excuse, it sounds like. Burns overhauled the agency's handling of the incidents when he became director at the onset of the Biden administration, removing the chief medical officer that some victims had criticized as too skeptical of the injuries and boosting the number of full-time medical personnel at the CIA who are focused on these studies. But the report still comes as dozens of CIA officers have gone to the House and Senate Intelligence Committees over the past year to raise concerns that a CIA task force established by Burns to investigate what might be causing these strange episodes has been soft-pedaling its investigation. I would certainly say so. In a January interim report, the CIA determined that a majority of reported cases could be explained by known means. But about 24 cases remained unexplained, which the government vaguely refers to as anomalous health incidents. Victims have struggled with brain trauma, vertigo, and other symptoms. They love that other symptoms. They have a whole list of things that are wildly disturbing. Which includes V2K voice to skull. Some severely enough to force retirement. But the intelligence community has also yet to produce evidence that a foreign nation is causing the illnesses. But as the CIA and the State Department have begun issuing compensation payments, frustrating some victims. Well, I'll tell you, that does sound really frustrating because it sounds like they're very much admitting to the situation and that they're even getting payments out. So I think the other interesting thing is that they're having trouble yet to produce that foreign nationals are causing this problem. Understood. Maybe it's our own technology, since I've divulged that we, the United States of America, are in control of technology that can do this at the South Pole Station. So for them to be acting like there's no possibility that any foreign national has this technology is just glazing over the fact that we possess this technology. So in lieu of them producing anybody else on the planet that has weapon systems that can produce these effects, is this friendly fire? I mean, I know where the technology exists. It's at the South Pole Station. We have it. So if they can't find anybody else on the planet with this type of weapon system, I guess this is friendly fire, folks. I guess someone in one of our organizations is attempting to take out folks in our other organizations. But I digress. The CIA began dispersing compensation for some victims earlier this year, sources say, after Congress in 2021 passed legislation mandating payments for CIA and other government victims. At CIA, we have no more profound obligation than to take care of our people, Bukima Miller, the CIA spokesman, said. Quote, as we learn from the past and look to the future, we have expanded access to the care and resources significantly over the past year and a half. Our steadfast dedication to this issue is unwavering. The report, which covers the period from 2016 to 2020, remains classified. Well, folks, since they're just taking care of their own personnel, I really wonder where that leaves folks like me that found themselves caught up in the mix unknowingly in some sort of compartmentalized fashion. Third-party contractors, I guess, are going to just be, as always, left hanging out as highly expendable. So who knows what will happen in the future, and maybe I'll get everybody to start understanding that we are in a modern war that people have yet to consider. There's weapons being wielded, there's attacks happening, it's happening around us, in front of our very eyes, it's impacting the people that we love, and the compartmentalization is what's killing us on a whole. If you haven't noticed what's been going on in the last couple of years, the lies, the deception, the deceit, the disinformation, the government basically working against we the people. California's trying to make legislation where doctors aren't allowed to give information that disagrees with politicians. So this is the dark storm that's coming around the corner, and everybody needs to get off of their butts and do something, because this story of white hats and this savior program that everybody's adhering to, you're all being bamboozled. You're all being tricked. You're all being pacified and placated. There's a storm coming. Everybody needs to be prepared, and it just is what it is. I'm not a naysayer. I'm not negative. I don't think that we can't win this war. I just think that we can't win this war if we don't realize we're in a fight. There is a fight. It's coming. It's coming hard and fast. And anybody wants to disagree with me, throw it in the comments. I'm happy to hear the naysayers that say everything's positive and everything's golden. I hear about all of that stuff. I see zero evidence of it, and I'm just looking for the fighters, not the quitters. So bring the fighters to the front line. Let's figure out where this is, because we the people can manage and we the people can take control of the situation. It's just a matter of understanding what we're up against. So go to deciphering.tv, take a look at what's going on, get involved with sharing some information around, talk to your friends and family, be bold in your maneuvers. Don't hide in the shadows. Speak your opinion. Have a voice. Get involved in conversations. All of our rights they're attempting to infringe upon, so make sure that you exercise them liberally. Have an excellent day, folks. It was great seeing you again over here on YouTube, but if you want to find the truth, you know where to go. So long, and check you out at deciphering.tv.